Okay, I'm heading out now to test out this draggy in my S15 with the 2J. Pretty excited about it, not going to lie. I'll go this way. Now, first time using a draggy, it's pretty cool. I've had a little bit of a play around with it, but I'm going to cruise on out. It's not the driest of the driest days, but I do have the Mickey Thompson ET Streets on the back, 275 17s. It's probably about a 28 psi in there, something like that. So they're not super flat. I'm not going to have heaps of grip, and I'm probably not the best at launching, especially in this rear-wheel drive car. Twin plate clutch, so it'll handle it. So we're going to cruise out and get some numbers, and then I have, because I'm sitting on Tane adjustables, just old school adjustable suspension, nothing crazy. I've got them all on soft. Just getting onto the motorway. Man, trailer. So it should be pretty good. I think my camber is at about 1.8 in the rear, and my ride heights, I'm not slammed or anything like that. So let's see how it goes. I'm not expecting massive times. I've never really launched this car off the line anyway. Excuse, it's super bumpy right now, but let's see how it goes. Bam! Cool, let's see if you can, I'll do it with the windows up, see if you can hear some 2J noises, man. Shit! Woo! 2J sounds beautiful. Hey, give it up for the SRs. But 2J, baby. Yeah. I'll go with the window down. Boost up. Shit. That's better. Woo! Only live once, baby. Just coming back now from the draggy experience. It was definitely an experience. The car sounds amazing in the woods. Woo-wee! Damn. But I thought it was going to have a bit more grip off the line than it did. When I'm rolling and I floor it, as long as my intake temps aren't too cold, I got quite a bit of grip. As soon as I start to, you know, sort of launch the car and slip the clutch at the same time off the line, it's pretty hard to keep it from wheel spinning. Actually, it was near impossible for me to do that. But I'll go through some of the results. I had some technical difficulties for some reason. It's worked before, but I couldn't do the video and record in front of me while I was doing, you know, quarter mile, or I wasn't even doing a quarter mile. I was only doing 0 to 100, 100 k's an hour. miles per hour. Yeah, pretty slippery, pretty damn slippery. Oh man! So I am going to now throw in this rear suspension, and I'm going to get the settings in the rear dialed in to try and help me with off the line grip. I'm pretty happy as long as there's no like slight corners or anything with the Mickey Thompsons. I'm super happy actually compared to the 8008s. Instantly tons of grip, but I do want to do a 10 seconds in this thing, and I'm on low boost, so 14 psi with no boost control influence, and yeah, I'm slipping all over the show. She's a handful, makes it for a fun ride, but I'll have to get my skills dialed in for launching it with a twin plate clutch, two-way LSD, and Mickey Thompson's, and I'm going to dial in my rear suspension settings with the import drag solutions, I think it is, coilovers for the rear. I think I can get much better times. Anyway, I'm going home, I'm starving. See ya! Woo! Damn! She's a beast. So she's got a bit of poke. Damn. Not much I can do about that. I'll have to change my rear offsets of the wheels to bring that in. Okay. Honestly, I get parcels daily. What do we got? We got some GK Tech. We got heaps of GK Tech. They're getting me out of trouble. I love GK Tech. You get me out of trouble, and that's the end of the box. What do we got? So this is predominantly for the S15 and some for the, which are these right here. These are for the GDR. Ooh, this is hard to do. Look at these puppies. And that's the business. So these are for my front, which way do they go? They go like that. These are for my front steering tie rod ends. See, they're a nice ball joint on there. I can adjust and get my heights and stuff a little bit different. These are the business. Much more expensive than just direct replacements. Well, not too much. If I was going genuine, I think genuine tie rod ends were 140. These are 180. But they're the business, no doubt about it. Thanks, GK Tech. What else we got? And this stuff here is for the S15. This is for the red diff. Yep. So I've gone poly mounts all around. I want a little bit of play, but I've taken these out because they were hectic. And those are those are solid front bushes. No, it's not going to work for me. I want some comfort. And then what have we got here? Oh, these are the main reason I wanted this parcel. We have the Diff Mounts, Subframe Mounts. Polys. Happy days. And they're going into this that I prepped up. And if you didn't know if you could do it or not, you can take out the whole subframe without touching any of your arms, which is good. So hopefully my alignment isn't messed up, but I've already removed them. They were nasty. And I've left these just because I wasn't sure if I needed to keep this outer ring there or not. But I'll find that out in a sec. She goes back in. Okay, subframe's all back in. So I've got the new subframe mounts there. I've got the poly mounts from GK Tech. I was able to keep this subframe brace as well. So they're all in there, looking very nice, very nice. It's hard for me to get this video, but I've also got the Diff Mounts, and I've got these here. One thing to consider with these Diff Mounts is these are the poly ones, not solid. They do say in the write-up, if you can see, where am I? Here I am. I've got these little, they're like a 10mm spacer in there. Says only run that when you use the R33 and 34 maybe subframes. This is a S15. I had to use them, otherwise these bolts here wouldn't line up with the hole because it would be sitting too far this way. So I definitely had to run those. And then yeah, I've got the front ones here on, and I was able to keep these brackets. I reckon it's just good because it, you know, it supports the stud, so it's going to help with a little bit of flex. So they're still on. There's not a huge amount of thread coming out, but they're all torqued up and they're all the way through. Same with these puppies here. There's a little bit more thread sticking out, but they're all torqued up and happy days. So everything's mounted back up. We should be pretty good. So this is the aluminium drive shaft from Alpha Omega Racing. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Happy days. And that's my trigger points that I pick up on for the rear driven wheel sensor. And that's it really. Beautiful suspension, all the arms. So I was able to take my subframe out without touching any of the arms, so the alignment should still be good, still be true. Now hopefully I don't have the crazy noises that I did when I just put the collars in. So I put collars in before to lock them out. Wasn't going to happen for me. Okay, so here we just have some replacement RPF ones. Now all I've done here is I've just changed the offset, because as you can see on the video and photos, since I've taken all of the camber out of these on the rear, she was poking out about 23mm. So this is actually going to put it in about 23mm. So I can run a 5mm spacer on this if I want a little bit more aggressive, but I've gone for an offset of 45. These were an offset of 22. So they were aggressive when I had 1.8 degree negative camber, but they did I got away with it. As soon as I took all the camber out, she poked out of the rear guards about 20mm, as you can see. So I want this to kind of be a bit legit, so I'm not getting bothered by the police. So this is why I've done this. And these are just so light, it's just ridiculous, right? So these will actually be a few grams lighter than these, because on the back here, the only thing that changes is, if you can just imagine that thickness there, that thickness like from there to there, and the depth of those, right? Have a look at that. This setup here is like putting a 20mm spacer on there. So it's like I've just taken off 20mm spacers. Give us a second and I'll get this set up. So on here, you can see that's quite deep, and that is as well. on here, very shallow. So these are going to be lighter, which is just another plus. But I probably will, I may add a 5mm spacer, but that's still less than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh this whole setup as it is. And then when I get these back, which is hopefully today, with the tires on, I'll directly weigh it and we'll see what the difference is. So happy days. Cool. 21.2 kilos with the Mickey Thompsons attached on the 17x9 offset 22 Enki RPF ones. Okay, just gonna weigh just the RPF one. Gonna fit it on there. Maybe I'll do it like that. 7 kilos flat. So 7 kilos flat, and that's RPF 1 17x9 offset 45. Okay, 20.8. It's not too bad. A few hundred grams. 17x9. Positive 45 offset. So, not very aggressive. Okay, so this is with the new Enki's on. Doesn't poke out at all. Doesn't look as aggressive, that's for sure. Definitely tuck on in. 275s, so they're pretty decent. Gonna put the stickers back on. There you go. Focused a little bit better with the Mickey Thompsons. As you'll see in a second, I've been doing some launch control setup, and she chews through the tires, and look at that tire patterns all the way out to the end, so that's good. So I've got that much on either side on the outsides, which is beautiful. And with the new coilovers, you probably can't see under here, but at about there, under launch, it was obviously squatting all that way down, and you can see that there's tire rubbing on there. So I think I worked it out, it's about a 55mm sort of drop there when it's launching and squatting. So that's pretty aggressive. So I tightened up the compression just a little bit, because I don't think it's supposed to touch the tire. But there she is at this point. I'm just going to go through the log now on the front and rear wheel speeds, and see what we're dealing with when I'm launching off. I'm launching at 4,000 RPM, and then my launch cutout drops out at about 35 Ks per hour, and I launch it at 0 Ks and taper the launch controls down slightly, then back up, and then when it gets past 35 Ks per hour, the front wheel speed will turn off the launch control. It's just to try and sort of do a traction control style launch control, so I'm not just baking up the tires. Okay, so just got back from doing some testing on the new wheels. Not like they are much different anyway, it's just a different offset, but with the Mickey Thompsons, and I'm working on my little launch strategy. First time really doing this, so I'm just learning, because trying to do it 10 seconds, man, I got to get that launch. So I'm back on the computer, got the logs on here. All I've really done with that is I've got the Link G4 Plus software. Just got a Link Fury, like I've sort of said before. and it enables you to do logging if you didn't know. So logging is just live, what is it? I guess live data collecting and stuff like that. So with the new wheel sensors that I've got, the front one and the rear one, driven wheels for the rear, undriven for the front. I've got those two parameters on there. So it checks those two speed references. And then I've got RPM, and I do have map, so your boost and stuff. You don't really need map for this, but I put it on there anyway. So I'll flip the camera around. I'll show you what I've found. And it's basically why I'm doing this is way to test out to see how much slip I've got. So whatever the difference is for the driven wheels and undriven wheels, there's going to be a certain amount of wheel spin slip. And you do want some, you want about 10% for a fast launch. But you don't want, like you'll see in here, I've got like 40% in some spots. So, and look, obviously, you know, where I may be doing it isn't really repetitive. It's not at a drag strip where it's super sticky and stuff like that, but it's still a way for me to have a look at everything and fine tune it as much as I can. So we'll turn it around, we'll have a little look. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much depth because it'll probably be a little bit boring, but for the people who do want to know, I've just zoomed, so if I go like this, I've just zoomed right in, so it'll keep dragging itself in. So I've just zoomed nice and close to this one area where I have done a launch. Because I drove the car for like 20 minutes. So there's a couple of launches in there, but we'll just have a little look at this one. So I've zoomed right in, and the time for it to get from here to here is literally like, we're talking 3 seconds or something. So although it does look large, it's just because I've zoomed in, and you can see that there. So it's 17 seconds, 18, 19, 20, you know what I mean? So it's only like 3 or 4 seconds. Anyway, so up the top here, we have engine RPM. So you can see here that I'm idling. It's idling just a tad bit high, but at 1100. And then in the middle here, it's hard to see. Sorry about the lighting. You've got map. We don't really need to focus on that too much, but that is your boost. These two puppies here, though, this top one, the orange one, is the wheel speed, the rear. So what gets all the power. And then this bottom one here, this blue one, is the front wheel speed, so the undriven wheels. So if we have a little look, I'm dealing up here, I'm idling the car, and then I'm cruising along, and then bang, there goes my RPM launch limit. So it's at about 4,000. So it fluctuates between, just under 4 and maybe 3,800 or something. So So I haven't where am I? So I haven't left yet. So see, I've done 0K. So what will happen though is my rear wheels will take off first. You'll see a speed, and then the front, so the actual chassis of the car, the undriven wheels, will take a little bit longer to start taking off, obviously, because there is some wheel spin and they're just the time that it takes. So I'm still under the launch RPM limit, bum, 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 and then you'll see here, still on there, and then I'm starting to slip the clutch, 0.3, and then all of a sudden, bam, she just jumps up. That's probably when I've completely let the clutch out. I might have done a little bit too quick, who knows, but I definitely did slip it to a certain degree. And there's 21K straight off the bat. So you can see there that the front wheels haven't even moved yet. And the front wheels haven't moved yet. And what do we got? We're up to 26Ks. And now I've got a small amount of movement of the car. Now, bear in mind, this is like half a second, maybe not even that. This is like probably 0.15 of a second from when the wheels started to start spinning. So I let all the clutch out to when the car actually starts moving. So it's really not, it looks big, but it's not a huge amount of time. And then if we keep having a look, 30 Ks, and I've only done 1.4 Ks on the actual chassis. And then 33, 32, Boom, boom, boom. Still cruising along. 33 Ks and bam, 13 Ks. So it just starts to take off. So I'll go back a bit. Bang, 13 Ks. Starts to take off. And then what happens is with my strategy I've got from 0 to 30 Ks in this particular setup. I have restricted RPM limits all the way through to 30 Ks. So at the moment, but it's 30 Ks from the undriven wheels. So this number here. So what starts to happen is you can see on the bottom, my vehicle speed starts to move up, and then I'm not really getting any more wheel spin on the rear wheels. So that's good. I'm starting to grip up now. And then my vehicle speed is starting to come closer to the actual driven wheel speed, which is nice. And then boom, boom, boom. And then I get to about 25 Ks on the chassis. And then my RPM limits start to increase again. So as you can see there. So there's my RPM limit starting to ramp up. Where is it? Right there. And then by the end, so when I get up to the top here, this is my RPM limit. So this will be 7,500. So this is when I've hit red line, right? And you'll see at the moment, we're about 6K difference from the driven wheels to the undriven wheels. But on this huge ramp up here, when we get to 7,500, my rear wheel speed is nearly 70 Ks, and then my actual chassis speed is 36 Ks. So that's a huge difference. I don't want that. So what I am going to try and do is I'm going to try and, if we have a look here, I'm going to try and restrict this portion here of its RPM limits. I'll slowly increase up around here and around here. And hopefully that can jump this one up and slow this one down. Obviously it'll take a little bit more time. So you might see this graph, instead of going up like this, it might come further out here, but what will happen is the speed here will increase a lot more. So, and I've got to learn, obviously, too, this is me just hanging on the RPM rev limiter. I've got to try and figure out how to switch straight away. The reason is it will help me increase this speed and get no lag here. See this flat spot? We don't want that. I want this to ramp up quicker and continue on. That's really what I want it to do. So hopefully you understood that a bit, but this is the good thing about looking at maybe some data or some, just some sensor information. So hope you like. Hopefully it's not too boring. So that's where I'm at this point. So if anyone else has got some good ideas with the launch control, now I'm not trying to bring in traction control just yet. I will jump into that soon, but I'm trying to just really understand this launch control and get a nice good launch. And with the launch control, I just want to admit, I haven't done any timing at advancing or anything like that to try and build any boost. You know what I mean? So I'm just doing a real standard launch. I'm just trying to restrict some RPM limits just to try and manage the wheel speed, and then start with that platform and then bring in some of the other strategies just to sort of jump on top. So if anyone's got any sort of good advice on how they set up maybe some speed referencing launch control, that would be amazing. Especially on a two-wheel drive, 1,200 kilo, 600 horsepower beast with Mickey Thompson's. That would be beautiful. And especially if you did it 10 seconds too. Would love to hear from you. Hope you like, guys. The next video is going to be fine-tuning the launch control strategy some more. But I do have a dyno booked in at Madiat Pits in Mullen Dyno there. So we're going to do a new tune with a set of cams and an ATI balancer. Just get a few more horsepower out of the beast. And that'll help down the track with boost sort of by gear strategy to get a better quarter mile time. So, bam, thank you.